So how are you guys doing today?
Good.
This is a brand new medium for us.
Yeah, it's a first for me too.
Yeah.
Like I've been on film, but
right,
never
pay.
Yeah.
Well, I've done a podcast or a few, but this is my first time with you guys, and I'm kind of excited about what we're gonna do here. Like we're gonna do it up, right? We're gonna do it big. We're gonna do some things, and you people out there listening are gonna love it.
Yeah. So for anybody that watches Black, White, and Red all over,
yes,
it's spoiler free.
Yes.
This we are going to get into things that would spoil the book for you if you haven't read it yet.
So be prepared.
Spoiler warning for everyone.
Yes.
So we got Shelby. Say hi, Shelby.
Hello. Hi, Shelby.
God damn it. I'm Ryan.
I'm Victor.
And I'm Tim.
We got Tim, y'all.
Yeah.
Tim is on.
Yeah.
It is on.
I'm always heard but never seen.
Yeah.
You know why? Because your magnificence is too great. Like, thine eyes have seen the glory. And that would just... Like, don't love him like you do.
Don't get my head too big.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'll take it and run with it.
I know you will.
And then my wife will hate me even more.
Well, that's grounds to do it some more. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not for nothing. So, first things first, man. What are we going to talk about? What do you want to dig into? What's the meat? I think you talked about Vader. You want to talk about some Vader?
Vader, yeah, Vader was really good.
Right?
Issue 1 was a little bit better. I think maybe just because there's just more badassery going on.
You think so? Really?
But I think one thing that got with me, and I don't know if it happened to you guys, but everyone talked down to Vader.
Everyone did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah.
You're talking about this issue or issue 1?
In issue 2, and then in this issue, everyone just talked down to him, and I think the only one that did that was Tarkin.
Well,
in the movie.
Well, yeah, but
and the Emperor.
Do you think that by the setup of in issue 1, of course, you know, it's right after he screwed up with the Death Star and has failed to capture, you know, Luke, Leia, and Han and everybody. That this is kind of grounds he's got egg on his face right now, so everybody is kind of fuck you, Vader. That's
he's a relic of a past religion,
right,
and all that.
Proof positive of that statement.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But in issue 2, I completely agree with you about issue 1 in terms of everybody's you're kind of not getting the job done. But then in issue 2, you see Vader doing all of these things in an intelligent way,
right?
And so conniving. Was the person that was watching him really spying on him?
I think he already says no, he wasn't, because he had the droid upload stuff.
Yeah.
To suggest that he was.
Yeah, and then
get rid of the droid. That's genius. I said this on Black, White, and Red all over, that I didn't like Vader only in the capacity of it being somewhat spoilerific of the Star Wars arc that's currently going on right now, because it takes place after, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
So I think that note alone will definitely keep number 2 higher ranked than 1 for me, because 2 does not spoil anything.
Yeah.
It allows for it to just keep moving forward, which I thought was really, really well done.
Yeah.
But there was some definite some dick measuring in this issue, all the way around.
Yeah.
Who Schwartz was bigger?
It's weird to me because the one guy went from Grand Moff to Grand General,
right?
And people keep forgetting that Darth is not a first name. It's a
right.
title.
That is a title.
That
is a title.
This beast. The only one that might be more beastly is the Emperor.
Right.
And people are just oh, well, Vader, you're a weapon now. No, I'm Darth Vader.
No, I'm Darth Vader.
Yeah.
You don't even have that qualification to get Darthhood.
Yeah.
I can choke you from across the room.
Yeah.
Just in case you forget. I did do that before.
Yeah.
But okay, so when you look at it that way, his abilities to do these things, and the fact that he doesn't, for the most part, is that a power play? Is that a role? Are they right when they call him just a weapon when he does not maximize his outputs like that? He does not just choke people. He actually follows chain of command.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I get it. In my opinion, it feels like it is him in deference to the Emperor.
Right.
Because they always refer to him as Emperor Palpatine, but never Darth.
Right.
Whatever.
Sidious,
right? Yeah.
So it's like he has to keep himself in check and not go full out, or else the whole concept of the Jedi's are gone, or it's a false religion. That superstitious fear that is in the back of people's heads is still there, because if he just goes around doing all that all the time, like oh no, that Force stuff is real.
So you think that the whole idea is that they are keeping what they do as Sith Lords secret of sorts?
Yeah.
Interesting. I never got that. Did you ever get that?
A little bit, but like I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it never occurred to me to think of it that way, because I always looked at it like if Vader had been the one to wipe out the Jedi, right? Then the Sith being secretive is one thing, but that not that it was something that people just generally didn't know about. Like it was, like I thought the Jedi were so prolific of a establishment. Even 30 years later, you're not gonna be like, archaic religion. Like I didn't think anybody would actually feel that. I mean, it does kind of make sense.
Yeah, I can see that. But we're also talking about something that is galaxy wide.
True.
And if 30 years ago, everybody that had Force powers was taken off your planet and taken someplace else,
right?
And then nobody else comes along for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and then you start hearing tales about this guy that's second in command at the Empire that can like choke you from across the room.
You're like,
this is bull. And then you see him coming, you're like, oh god, maybe. Like I don't want to find out.
I don't want to know if that's true. That is true.
Because have they ever said like what's? Have they ever said the time difference between episodes 3 and 4? Is it like 20, 25 years?
Between 3 and 4? I thought it was 30. I thought it was 30.
Was it 30? Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. It's where...
We're going to stop hitting the table. We're going to get... Okay, Shelby's going to beat us up. He's going to crawl over like, you stop touching the table!
I've been to Catholic schools. I don't want to get my...
Right, yeah, see, he's got whippers over there. Sorry. But no, I think it's 30 years. Okay. Long enough for Luke to grow up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't...
Well, Luke and Leia.
Right.
Yeah, so...
Not to forget her, but...
And her comics next week.
Yes.
And it looks really, really good.
It does.
I think it's going to get more into her head about, like, I'm a princess of a destroyed planet. And where do I go from here?
Yeah. Okay, so do we know when that takes place? Like, is it in this whole time?
I'm assuming it's during the time span because, like, the preview pictures or preview pages that they put out, it starts off with at the end of episode 4 when when she's putting the medals on their heads for the Death Star.
Gotcha.
And I like you said, princess. I'm based on the quality of the ongoing series and Darth Vader. I'm hoping that they redefine princess, so that it's not princess as in like, oh, here's a frilly, pink costume, here's a magic wand for like my daughters. It's now here's a blaster.
Right.
Go
lead, defend. Go be. That's true. That's true.
Very powerful. A very like a reawakening of women as something more than just the damsel in distress.
Gotcha. Do you think Disney will do that? I mean, Disney has made a lot of cash.
They have made a lot
on
of cash.
Disney princessing of things. So,
but they've started stepping beyond that, like Mulan.
Right. That's true.
There is that opportunity, and I think they're cognizant of it.
That's. I mean, I don't think you can go straight Disney princess when you know that Slave Leia is in the runnings. Like that's. Yeah. You can't like.
Yeah, you have to gloss
it.
Coming soon, Carrie Fisher in the gold bikini.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, let's just segue onto that one. If Leia is in the princess or Disney princess pantheon here, right? Mm-hmm. How would what other characters would you compare that to? Like, would Jabba be like Ursula the Sea Witch? What would you? What's the comparative for you? This has no bearing on the books whatsoever. I'm just curious as to what you guys think.
Well, I mean, Chewbacca's got to be like Beast.
Is he
right?
Beast? You think?
Except he just doesn't fall in love with anyone. There's no bell.
He's just kind of like, it's just what he does.
I don't know. I mean, Jabba and Ursula is pretty.
I think that's right.
Visually, it makes perfect sense.
Han is Aladdin. I'm gonna say Han is Aladdin.
Yeah.
The whole thief thing, which then. Does that make Chewie a poo, or does it? Does
it make Chewie the flying carpet?
Oh no, that's the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
the Falcon is the flying carpet.
Yeah, all right.
The Force itself is maybe the genie. Is that
the Force? Yeah,
Force the genie. I want to get Sebastian the Crab in there somewhere.
Oh God,
like trying to shoehorn him in like C-3PO or.
Oh, I can honestly see that. I think that works. Like that's C-3PO is Sebastian the Crab.
I almost went Lando on that, but that's not going to
Oh, Lando would be. Oh crap! I don't even know.
The good dude from Frozen. No, he'd be the bad dude. Well, it depends on which episode of the movies we're talking about.
True.
Lando.
That's true.
Stupid sexy Lando.
Billy Dean is called Free Fox.
Yeah.
Dang it! Dang it! No! I got it. Lando would be the dude from Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's who he would be.
Just the Hunchback?
No, not the Hunchback. The other dude, the guy that Kevin Kline played.
Yeah, Colonel.
Okay.
I can't. That's French for something.
That's French for.
That's French for evil laugh. Maniacal laugh.
Subtitles. All right, so who would Vader be?
Jafar.
Jafar's too easy, man. Like, not for nothing. I think Jafar is too easy.
I mean, who's more evil?
I think Scar was more evil, man.
Yeah,
Scar was more evil.
Scar was way more evil. I mean, he killed his own brother. Long live the king.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scar.
Yeah.
Vader.
Right.
Why am I blanking on the name of the
Mufasa?
No, the shaman type.
Rafiki.
Rafiki as Obi-Wan.
Oh, yes. I like. You wouldn't say Obi-Wan is Mufasa though. Somehow, like, okay, I know that it's not direct, but if you go Scar and Mufasa in the Brotherhood, and remember the whole, you're like a brother to me.
Yeah. Like, if we're going Lion King with this now, like, I can't get the idea of Timon and Pumbaa as 3PO and R2.
Oh my God, that's amazing! That is amazing.
Yes. Okay, so we've decided that the Lion King apparently is a ripoff of Star Wars, and Disney has bought Star Wars to make sure that they don't get sued.
That's it. That's genius. Yeah. That's genius. Or that they don't have to sue them.
Yeah.
What better way than I won't sue you if you just let me buy you?
Yeah.
Ta-da. There it is. Okay. So, I'm sorry. We're gonna take a stab at this fanfic where if we can tackle episodes 4, 5, and 6 by way of Disney films, I think it would be genius.
Well, you know what I just realized too, which is kind of funny. Simba's dad, I can't.
That's Mufasa.
Yeah. That's James Earl Jones.
Yes. Oh, see how he did that? Yes.
Circle of life.
Yes. Literally. That is amazing. Oh my God, that's amazing. That is amazing. Okay. That was so stupid and geeky. I don't know what made me ask that question, but there it was.
It worked.
It does. It does. You guys are all thinking about it now out there, aren't you, in the Twitter world and on the interwebs and all that such.
As strange as that tangent was, it actually kind of segues pretty decently to the other thing we want to talk about.
Yes.
Spider-Gwen and the soft reboot of Batgirl.
Yes. Go ahead.
They're very similar.
Yes.
And I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. Like, they both have artistically the way that certain like text messages and stuff are shown are very similar. But the execution in Spider-Man, and this is coming from a dude who I am a Spider-Man purist.
Right.
All of my kids have Spider-Man tattoos, even the baby.
Born with it. Yeah, born with it.
Like, as soon as you invoke Gwen Stacy, there's an immediate...
There's guttural reaction.
Yeah, where I want to flip a table.
Right.
And, like,
you don't talk to Nick Cottrell that way.
Yeah, I will stomp on a butterfly. I don't think it's... But this was really, really good. And not a good comic for a fill in the blank. It was a legitimate good comic.
Period. Right.
Whereas Batgirl, like, I don't know, even with the big reveal at the end of the most recent issue with the artificial intelligence or computer version of her, still kind of
yeah, kind of
I read Secret Origins this week with the new apparent origin of Batgirl, and I think I get that they're trying to keep stuff close to the vest because of the next issue of Batgirl, but I couldn't tell if Oracle's still around.
Like, is Oracle a program? Is that what you mean?
Like, so Barbara Gordon is crippled. Right. She gets crippled. But Killing Joke happens.
Right.
And all of a sudden there's a new Barbara Gordon walking around, and like miraculous cure. She's on these TV shows. She's in the paper.
Right.
And there's another Barbara Gordon sitting there in the wheelchair going, "That's not me."
Like, this is in Secret Origin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which should be way bigger news.
That should be really big news.
Yeah,
actually.
and Secret Origins is already sold out at Diamond, which is which is weird for that book. Well, not weird, but abnormal, I guess too. And I just can't tell where they're going with it. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
All right, so wait, let's backtrack a little bit. So for anybody that's not already following Batgirl specifically, what we have with it is a very specific niche market being aimed to with that series. We're talking very modern, young, teenage, young adult, female audience. Yeah, I think that's that's a fair statement.
Because with the New 52, they made Batgirl younger,
right?
To where
she's in college.
I would assume, in the before the New 52, I would say she's in her late 20s, maybe.
Right.
But now they've already said she's 18, 19.
Gotcha.
She is college freshman, sophomore.
Okay. So you've got this market that they're trying to gear towards, which to a degree, I mean, yes, you got the pandering argument that definitely exists, but shout out to them for attempting to reach that market because it has been ignored for a very, very long time. But in your honest opinion, what exactly makes it fall short where Spider-Gwen has in fact succeeded? What do you think is the difference between the two?
It's for Spider-Gwen, I think, was successful because they went at it and wrote it as a comic. They skipped all of the foundational, like the origin story, right? It just picked up like it was issue 37 or whatever.
Gotcha.
So everybody already knows and there's a focus on what happens in the story, as opposed to with Batgirl the first couple issues. The focus was on
how do we get there?
How did the technique also, like here's how it is different from your regular comic. Like here's the text message, here's that. And it was like the focus was on that, what separated from other stuff, as opposed to with Spider-Man, they're just here's a comic.
So essentially with Batgirl, they used that stuff almost as a gimmick and had to establish what the gimmick was.
That's what it felt
before
like,
they could utilize it.
And I think that for some readers, I think the transition was too jarring. Because you go from Gail Simone, and it was a darker book, and then you go to Cameron Stewart, and the art and the style was much lighter.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, radically, like different to the point that they may as well have just started with number one. Wow, like it was that.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're even doing with the trade paperbacks is that they're it's going to have a new number one. Like, when I was doing the word film, really guys?
Brian just shot himself metaphorically.
And I think that I think 39 was my breaking point where I was like, this is the make or break issue for me.
Right.
And then with that plot twist, I'm like, I mean, it's enough for me to pick up number 40
to see what's going
to happen. But I don't know if I'm going to stick with it once Convergence is over and they
do you think this is a Convergence tie-in? Like a subtle seed, if you will?
It could be. I mean, we don't know where the DC universe is going to be,
right?
Whether or not like they're going to go back to before the New 52,
right?
If they're going to mix more elements of the pre-52 before.
Yeah, because right after Convergence, all we know is there's going to be the one-shots. They're all going to be taking place under this dome that everybody's trapped in. Some of them are going to be pre-crisis, some are going to be 0 hour.
Ouch.
We literally have no idea what they're going to do.
And one of them is Nightwing Oracle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, could there be a Barbara Gordon Oracle and then like a Barbara Gordon Batgirl, and the Batgirl's like a clone?
It's Clayface.
Yeah.
It's Clayface, I'm telling you. Okay, so going back to the comparative though, okay, so with Spider-Gwen, and again, I love you, Jason Latour, for this one. I know we've had our differences, but you have won me back over with hello on this one. It's the notion that they just kept it moving.
Yeah,
like they didn't waste time. They didn't pander like at all.
Not one bit. It's like they just wrote a comic
and there you go.
Yeah,
like get in where you fit in. Let's go.
Yeah, and that's what I love is that they just wrote a comic.
I like that.
Just here's quality.
Right.
There's a strong female protagonist. It's not all ages, but at the same time, it's not focused at a particular demographic. It is a book that I could hand to anywhere from my oldest daughter, who's 9 or 10
right.
to a 35-year-old dude.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. It's just good. It felt like an Amazing Spider-Man comic from the 70s.
Got you. Now, okay, so this one's follow me on this segue. It's gonna be a 2-part piece as I bring this up. So with Batgirl and the new direction that they've gone in, they're utilizing like a lot of brand new characters, as opposed to with Spider-Gwen, which is a twist on some established concepts. Where do you think that fits in terms of the accessibility? Where though it's a truly different twist on a lot of these different characters, because we know them, it's a welcome thing, or is that something where the newness was probably a better plan? What are your thoughts?
God, that's a really good question.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Have you had coffee this morning? I didn't ask if you had coffee yet.
No,
that was my fault.
That's one I would love to ask somebody who has read very, very few comics and then read the recent Batgirl and Spider-Gwen.
Okay.
Because it may be for like the new characters in Batgirl. I don't care.
You don't care. Yeah. See, that's what I wonder about.
Yeah, because they've only been around for a few issues. Because with the restart, I mean,
It's
she
brand
literally moved to a different part of town,
Right.
Yeah.
And the new characters that they established in Gail Simone's run are just not there.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
With Spider-Gwen, like, okay, I recognize that character.
Right.
It's a different universe. I like that twist on it. And I wonder if somebody who hasn't read many comics would be like, okay, so there's a bald dude with wings. Is this based off of Birdman? I don't know.
What is it?
So that with no emotional investment or intellectual investment into the characters, it might be easier to pick up on the characters that have only existed for 3-4 issues.
Or would it be nominal period? Like they would look at them equally.
Yeah.
Like would they register the difference?
Yeah.
That is. I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting question. Yeah. Okay, so part 2 of that segue would be, as we've been talking about casting stuff for movies and whatnot, where obviously the big, talk about town is what Spider person is going to exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
So is it better, again, to rehash someone in a particular sense? We're talking Black Peter, or should we come in from a fresh new character standpoint, a la Miles Morales?
If they're going to force movie watchers to watch the origin story of Spider-Man again,
Lord, please don't do that. Please don't do that to us. We know spider bite, good, move.
Yeah.
Uncle died, sad, go.
I mean, it's just like Batman's origins. Like,
right.
It's been told.
Like a bajillion times.
Apparently they're doing it again in Batman vs. Superman. It's like, it's
Why?
been told, guys.
Come on,
I
man.
know.
Like, who doesn't know that one?
like at some point, you've probably heard. So the Waynes died, and this dude like went crazy and started beating up the Joker. Okay, cool.
Gotcha. Done.
Yeah.
And understood.
If they do decide to do the origin story again, I'm fine with Miles Morales.
Okay.
Because it is a different character.
Right.
He just happens to be wearing the Spider-Man costume.
Right. Or at least carrying the name.
Yeah.
At least carrying the name. Right.
Yeah. And with the Ultimate universe, when Parker died like a champ.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Like it was
like a G,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
was
god.
completely organic. And Miles Morales is different enough of a character. It wasn't like they just shoehorned in somebody into the costume.
Right.
It's like he has a similar origin story, a subtly different power set.
True.
A different personality, different background. I'd be fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd be fine with Miles Morales. And going back to like the origin story on camera or on film, I'll buy it if they do this, which I really want them to do, but I don't think they're going to. Now that we know that Spider-Man's going to be in the Marvel movie universe, it'd be too soon to cast him and put him in Age of Ultron.
Okay.
But Marvel does all those teasers at the end of the movies. The teaser at the end of Age of Ultron is the science experiment. The spider gets irradiated, and it lands on someone's hand, and that's it.
We know what
yeah.
that is. That would be awesome.
And the Marvel Cinematic Universe has mirrored itself more off of the Ultimate Universe.
True. Very true.
Right from the get-go.
Right.
So that would also fit there. And I would love to say that we're at a point now where you can cast characters colorblind.
Right. You would like to think that.
I would like.
I will be honest. It was okay. So I was at Wizard World Cleveland this past weekend, and Aaron Sagers had me on the Marvel versus DC cinematic versus the television universe who's winning panel, and there was a guy that was like, they've gotten Aquaman all wrong. Aquaman is blonde-haired, blue-eyed. That's it. And I kid you not, like, I wanted to straight go Jay and Silent Bob on and be like, no, Aquaman is a fictional character. Like, there are no definitive characteristics that define that man under any circumstance other than underwater talk to fish. Yeah. You do that, you're pretty good on the Aquaman levels. Yeah. Anything else, buried, allowed.
I can't get past how awesome Jason Momoa is.
Oh my god, that looks fantastic. Okay, so a buddy of mine, he actually called me today and said that people were misinterpreting the Unite the Seven as Unite the Seven Seas. And I'm like, why? Like, he's king of them already. Like, I don't understand where... You guys have never heard of Aquaman before? Like, it's just out of curiosity. Like, have you never ever heard of this guy? Like, I don't understand where you're at with this one. But I'm just gonna leave that there and just kind of move away from it. But yeah, like, I've heard multiple sides of the argument though. Like, we are colorblind, or should be colorblind, where we could have a Hispanic, a Asian American, or African American Peter Parker. Yeah, we should be able to. I've heard many people, like Dan Slott, he actually went on Twitter the other day and was just like running it down for people. Like, there's nothing inherently white about Peter Parker. Like, I think he actually said, like, if you use within 100 words, even up to 1,000 words, to describe Peter Parker, if white is one of them, you don't understand him. Yeah. And I was like, good on you, sir. Good on you. Yeah. But I do know of others that make a valid point that say we have, you know, African American and or Hispanic versions of Spider-Man. Why shoehorn them into the Peter Parker label as opposed to letting those individual characters have their time to shine? I don't know how to speak on that one. I feel like both are truly valid arguments. Yeah. And I don't think I could argue either one. And I could argue anything except that.
Yeah, I've never heard that argument before.
Yeah, like, I mean, because if you look at, what is it, Miguel, for 2099 Spider-Man, he definitely would fit into the, you know, the Hispanic version. And then you got Miles, who definitely fits into the black one. Yeah. And you have Peter. So you have different versions of Spider-Man truly accounted for. Yeah.
I can't remember the name, but there's Spider-Man in India.
Yes, there was.
Yeah. He was just in Spider-Verse.
Was he?
Yeah.
And isn't there one that took place in the manga verse too? Yeah. So we do have an Asian centric Spider-Man as well. So Spider-Man for all seasons, people, like, we've got it. But
got one with the giant robot.
Yes, we do. Bam.
Yeah.
And now we have Spider-Gwen. So we even have a female Spider-Man that we could throw in the mix there. You know, let alone May Parker and all that stuff. So there's, I don't know, there's so much potential with that one. I don't know how to talk about that, honestly.
I guess you'd have to first define, are you filming a Peter Parker movie or are you filming a Spider-Man movie?
That is a great point. That is a great point.
If it's Parker, you kind of have to go with the Peter Parker that has been around for decades.
Why do you say that? Marketability? I mean,
yeah, because it then creates a situation where let's say they cast a Hispanic actor to be Peter Parker. Right. People watch the movie. Their kids haven't read comics. They may not be familiar with the character. They then go to their local comic shop. Do you have any Spider-Man comics? Right. You show them the Spider-Man comics, and they're like, "Well, he
looks different.
Yeah, he's white. Where's?" And then it creates these kind of questions that at the local comic store level we can't really answer.
Let me throw some devil's advocacy on you right here, and Shelby, I'm looking at you on this one too. What if the actor involved identifies as a particular ethnic group, but does not stereotypically look like said ethnic group?
Because you have Mexican ancestry, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But if upon looking upon you first guess, I would not have guessed that, like, at all. I'm just like, he's a white guy. Like,
right.
Not to say they're like derogatory. He's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. No, but like, I would not have guessed your ethnic background just upon first look. So is it possible that could be something that is used, you know, best of both worlds, if you will? So we have the but I mean, at the same time, that is dangerous too, because I mean, look at Jessica Alba and as Sue Storm. I mean, they technically did somewhat of a whitewashing of her, you know. Yeah. But I don't know. Like, is that
It's a tough question. The problem is, I come from a very like Irish background, like both sides of my family. Like within a generation or two, I can track back to Ireland.
Right.
So I only come at this with the frame of reference of a white dude.
Right. He's like, I'm the whitest of whites right now.
So that's something I like. What are your thoughts on it, Shelby? Because you got closer to that kind of.
I'm sorry. Like
no, it's loaded because I mean, it's loaded because it's an in-depth question.
True. Yeah,
because
true.
I don't.
How hard do you?
I don't even think about it.
That's another.
Okay,
part
so
too.
when I hear people talk about that we need to be color neutral,
right?
The fact that you're talking about color neutrality means that you're not neutral.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. That is very true. That is very
so true. That's how I understand and I respect my heritage,
right.
But then also on another level is that I don't agree with I don't agree with hyphenating myself.
Right.
I don't hyphenate my I'm not a Hispanic American.
Gotcha.
Or I'm not.
You are American. Yeah.
I'm an American by nationality.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's.
Anything else is still. I mean, especially in the context of America, anything else is just. It's America. Like it's American. Like it's a hodgepodge of so much. And
correct.
There it is.
So that again is that I just don't look at it that way, and I want to be known for my merits as an individual and not.
Okay. Not as a grouping,
right? Because I mean, not to get into, but there's certain things that I could have taken advantage of in my, like I could be a quota buster.
Dude,
and
I was when
I'm
not gonna lie to you. I'm like, hey, I need a black dude. Hey, you're right.
No, but it's not. But if it ever came up, I would tell them.
Right.
But I never wanted it to be the reason that I got something.
Got you. You don't want it to be a bankable necessity. If it comes up, okay, fine. But if not, do you, right? And I understand that. Like, as a creator, I'm like that. Like, obviously, I get looked at as the sense of, do you make black comics? My answer, short term, is no. Have I made a comic that does speak very well to a black market? Yes. But does that speak to all that I'm capable of or what I specifically aim to do? No. So in that sense of being a black comics creator, that does not work for me. So I know exactly what you mean. It obviously is like a bigger conversation piece.
Yeah.
Like it's almost impossible to answer this one definitively. But I was just curious as to what you guys thought about it. Just kind of
it's a deep question. I would love to have a group like a larger group of people discuss it. And I would love to sit on of multiple ethnicities, multiple self-identifications, and just see what comes up.
What comes up because there's a lot more that's out there that we didn't discuss. Of like Michael B. Jordan is black and he is playing Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four movie,
which people have flipped out.
Oh my god,
flipped out about. Which I'm just like, for me, the race doesn't matter, and do they have the chemistry? Does Michael B. Jordan and I can't remember
Kate Mara.
Do they have the chemistry as a brother and sister?
Right.
There was a little bit of stuff on the internet that I read about of Doctor Strange not being Hispanic, and Benedict Cumberbatch was.
Is Doctor Strange Hispanic?
No.
Okay, I was like,
as far as
I was like, is he actually Hispanic?
I mean, it wasn't as big as Michael B. Jordan, but like I remember, like I saw like an article on I think it was Bleeding Cool or Comic Book Resources. They were discussing why fans were in a little bit of an uproar about it. I'm like,
I didn't realize he was. I mean, I can see it when you say it in a way.
I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to do research because I've just thought of him as like Doctor Strange.
Right. Yeah. It's just he's just this dude.
Yeah.
Like
maybe the way he's been drawn or colored.
It's the way he holds his fingers, isn't it? That's
what it is.
That's so gang related.
Yes.
That's so
See how you are?
Yeah. Right. Like this is terrible, man. Like terrible people. Shame on you.
You know what the IR really is, don't you?
Yeah, I do. We're in that clique. What up? Wow, that's Wow, I didn't know that though. Like,
yeah. I read a couple articles, and then a couple customers have like brought it up to me. Wow. One of the employees here, Jacob, brought it up to me too.
Now, okay, so going back to the Fantastic Four sibling thing, one of the things like this one touched near and dear to my heart because my daughter and my stepson are related by blood, but you guys have seen them in the store. They look like two different ethnicities. My stepson favors his Caucasian father. My daughter looks more like I do, in terms of shade of skin.
Yeah.
They share the same mom. I mean, we're talking same mother, no two ways about it. And she herself is biracial. So it kind of lends itself to them having different extremes, if you will, but are in fact blood related. So it was one of the things that bothered me when people asked the question of how is that possible? Like, genetics aren't a thing that actually exists that people can function with. Like, well, what happened was, like, it's...
Well, I mean, if you're a member of the Insane Clown Posse, it's useful.
Oh, my God, that's so hurtful to my spirit.
We just lost a demographic.
We did, man. Like, all of Detroit just turned off. Like, all of it.
We lost.
All
of the juggalos.
Just gone. But, I mean, so, like... There's that sense of it where, in people's bigotry just rampant, on such things, and it hurts my feelings to a big degree. But at the same time, there are some things that I can totally get behind, and I'm gonna mark myself right now when I say you can change Spider-Man, absolutely. Based on the time period that you do it, I think you can change Batman.
Okay.
I do not believe that you can change Superman. Not at all. They all made faces at me right now. I just want y'all, y'all can't see their faces, but right now they've all just kind of made a face at me. Here's my reasoning for it though, because I said this on a diversity panel and almost got beat up until I explained it.
Okay.
And it was if, and we have to put this under the context of the if principle. If Jor-El or any other Kryptonians had been to Earth and specifically designated it as a place to send Kal-El, they'd need to make sure that he could fit in with the general population in order to survive. And so, as a quick polling, if you will, on their scientific means of being able to send a baby through space, multiple galaxies, I figure they can do a quick test and see, hey, most of the people look like this, let's send him here. I think that is a necessity of his characterization and story.
Yeah, because Kansas is
right.
I don't think
you
can get more Caucasian.
You can't get much more than that, and so I think it's kind of a necessity to speak. Because if, and it's funny too, because our one of our favorite creators, Mark Miller, played around with the notion of Cal landing somewhere else in Superman Red Son. If the timing was right and he landed in Africa, what would that story be? Would he be revered? Would he be feared? Would he be like, oh my God, the strange baby? And he doesn't have any color. What the crap is it? And he's breaking things like, whoa, like he just fought an elephant. I don't understand. What would that do?
Yeah, like what kind of racist nightmare if he landed in South Africa?
Oh my
raised
God.
Exactly.
Exactly. So, I think that his racial background does play directly into all those different points, especially if you consider, he'd have the same power sets if he landed on Mars.
Yeah.
So, them, not sending him to Mars is a thing as well. There's a reason for this.
Yeah.
And, you had to look at all those things. But like I said, if it wasn't for the explanation, I think I would have got beat up.
Yeah, the explanation, putting it in that frame makes sense.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just kind of really?
Really? Yeah. I mean, but because then you also have, a number of different connotations as well to say that other planets have the same racial differences that we do.
Yeah.
It gets into very limited narrow-scape territory.
Yeah, their evolutionary chain may have
been totally different. How come there's not blue Kryptonians? I don't know.
Yeah.
It works for the Kree.
Yeah.
Why can't there be blue Kryptonians?
Yeah. And if you've got the capability of interstellar travel, why Earth?
Right.
Why not?
Of all places. Yeah. Of all places. Like I said, Mars. Obviously they had life there.
Yeah.
Those guys are shapeshifters and telepaths. So, what better way to say, oh, this kid, his planet blew up. Let's take care of him. He's the last of his kind. We'll shelter him. We'll protect him. It's fine. And under the yellow sun, he can do all this stuff, so he can rock with us. Maybe he can even protect us from fire. Awesome. wasn't there. So that's just my little geeky.
Maybe Jarrell was just a Jayhawks fan.
Love Kansas.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, Smallville rocks. So we're getting told that the time's ticking on us here. How much longer do we have, Shelby? What are your thoughts?
We're overtime.
Are we overtime? I'm sorry. This is our fault, man. That's bringing up the deep stuff, man. It's bringing up the deep stuff. But that's all right, though. This is the first issue or episode, and we got plenty of things to talk about. Like, I think next time we'll probably get into more casting stuff. We were talking about
Indiana Jones.
We were talking about Indiana Jones, which I think is brilliant. We talked about the Inhumans. And all that. So
Supergirl is still casting for some.
Yeah. So. Shout out to Callista Flockhart for showing she's still got the goods, man. She's gonna play Cat Grant. Yeah. The other girl's got plastic booties. Cat Grant. I wasn't talking about Felicity.
Callista
Flockhart. I wasn't talking about her. Supergirl specifically made that point. It's one of the funniest things in the world. But well, I think that's us for this episode.
Yeah.
So shout out, sir.
Tim.
It's Victor.
Ryan.
And Shelby.
Have a good one, guys.